Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another video. This time we're going to be talking about a set of Gina Carano films, which include Haywire, which came out in 2011, In the Blood, which came out in 2014, as well as Scorched Earth, which came out in 2018. Bloody Jacob here again, and like I said, we're going to be talking about a set of Gina Carano films here. This is sort of a QMR, I guess. If you guys haven't watched my QMR videos, basically it's videos I do when work's getting into me and there's strands of my hair sticking up. But anyway, basically when work's getting to me, or my schedule's just kind of being getting crammed in a little bit. I don't know if I want to say it's this. It basically is. But I nonetheless wanted to talk about these three films here because if you guys haven't noticed with the movie reviews I've been doing over the past couple months, I've definitely gotten into the action genre more. Of course, horror is always going to be my favorite movie genre. But I've just tapped into sort of like an old interest with Van Damme films, Lundgren, Schwarzenegger, stuff like that, and it's really just kicked me in the ass and got me into a whole new type of film that in a way I've never been into before, even though I watched some movies like that pretty early on in my life. My brother is always super into those films. And Gina Carano is someone I've gotten into fairly recently. I mean, Scorched Earth I actually watched quite a while ago. I always meant to do a review on it, so here we are now. I know she has that, fighting background and everything like that. She had a pretty damn good record as well. I know she lost at the end before she retired from the sport. But then it's ironic because Cyborg, or whoever it was that she lost to, ended up testing positive for some kind of steroid later on. So, maybe not take that, maybe not put that loss on her record. I don't know. I'm not a fighting expert or anything, but I really have gotten into checking her out recently. And it's been nice because these three films, they're kind of spaced out between a few years, but it's actually kind of worked, for me to see her progression. And to me, from what I've seen, she's the most successful sort of fighter to actor I've seen, especially when it comes to female fighters and stuff like that. Not naming names, Ronda Rousey, but I think she's had a pretty great transition here. I'm also really looking forward to her film she's doing with Richard Dreyfuss right now called Daughter of the Wolf. Dying to hear when that's going to come out. I think I heard sometime in April. I think that might be like the movie for her. I just kind of love the premise that is. But yeah, anyway, these are sort of her three biggest films she's done so far. I mean, she did have a role in the first Deadpool movie. She had a pretty cool fight with, Colossus and everything. She is in Blood and Bone and, just a bunch of others. But these are like her big, sort of, star, led films. And Haywire is the first one I wanted to talk about. Yes, I'm buying all her movies on Blu-ray. I guess I got a Blu-ray Gina Carano collection going on now, which I'm fine with. This, like on paper is probably her biggest film. It came out in 2011, like I said. Really stacked cast. I mean, you got Michael Fassbender, Ewan McGregor, forgive me, Bill Paxton, of course, as well as Channing Tatum, Antonio Banderas, and Michael Douglas. So definitely the most, probably the highest budget of these films. And I'm not even looking at a page right now. I'm just assuming it probably costs the most money on that alone. But yeah, Haywire basically deals with this whole conspiracy sort of deep into the FBI and those types of organizations that she's a part of in the film. I should probably pull up the IMDb on this so I can be specific with certain things. All right. But yeah, she plays Mallory, a character named Mallory Kane in this. Yeah, Black Ops, excuse me. But it deals with, sort of different people involved with different groups. Black Ops super soldier seeks payback after she is betrayed and set up during a mission. That's basically the premise of it. And now the way the movie is sort of promoted, the way it looks on, posters, makes it seem really, really action heavy. And don't get me wrong, there are some pretty solid fight scenes in this. Her and Fassbender's probably being the most notable, sort of like hard-hitting one, I guess. I remember reading various things about that fight. So apparently they really got into it. They really laid into each other. I mean, she accidentally hit, like, Fassbender, like, actually really hit him with a vase or something. And then, Fassbender slammed her head into a wall pretty hard, but they're both really into it, even if they're out of it for a second or two. So that takes commitment there, and apparently they're both pretty happy with how it turned out, and it kind of showed. I'm going to say this probably like 20 times throughout this video, but Gina Carano, when it comes to the fight scenes, it's very, very believable. I think she does really well with them. Even when she just gets in certain holds and just the way she hits, you can feel it, you can buy into it, because she's of course built like a tank, but still really, really attractive. So that end of it is pretty good. I would have preferred more, of course. It is sometimes a bit more focused on the I don't know if I want to say espionage, but sort of like more of the corruption side of it, more of like the maneuvering with that and things of that nature. And I would say the soundtrack or the music they use in scenes seems kind of just unfitting sometimes, which did kind of throw it off a bit. It's supposed to be like a big intense moment. It sort of falters a bit for me because the music sort of undercuts that, makes it feel like sort of just like a cool, like little action movie scene or something, where I think the movie is kind of presented as something else. I don't know. But everyone gives pretty good performances in this. She's pretty good. Like I said, nice thing about watching these films, sort of a few years apart from each other, is seeing her progression as an actress, which we'll talk more about in the Blood. But she's good here. Michael Fassbender, of course, he's always good. Same with McGregor. Paxton is particularly good here, as well as Michael Douglas. I don't really care for Channing Tatum, but he served his role. Banderas, of course, he holds up. So yeah, not quite as good as I was expecting. I would have liked a little bit more action. You get a decent sequence through a penthouse at the end, but it sort of ends in an anticlimactic way, and I didn't care for. I thought it could have wrapped things up with a little bit more oomph, But it wasn't too bad, and it's filmed well. Fine performances all around. So if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 77%, C+, somewhere in there. Not as good as I had hoped, but, still, a decent start and showing for her as far as leading a movie like this. And the next one I want to talk about, I don't actually have or own on Blu-ray yet, because I just watched it tonight, and that is In the Blood, which came out in 2014. Not a stat cast of the previous film, but it does also feature Danny Trejo as well as Stephen Lang. And sort of, guest roles, I want to say, but still, somewhat key in their own ways. But then you also have Emery Nosco, who I think was in Prison Break, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen it yet, but it's definitely a show I should watch at some point. But anyway, In the Blood, I actually really liked it. I think it should be talked about actually more than Haywire, if I'm being honest. Because I think it's a good showcase for Gina Carano all around, excuse me. Like I was talking about earlier, that progression of her as an actress, I think this is actually the best performance I've seen of her so far. Because, again, she's believable and, really physical in her fight scenes. There's actually, sort of more physical confrontations in this than Haywire, ironically. Of course, she's searching for her missing, new husband, sort of a family conflict there on his side of things. Them not sort of accepting her, especially the father, and then you find about this corruption within the country they're in, and him sort of disappearing when he's taken into a hospital. So it's like a search and all that. Not the most original plot, but it did have me a little bit engaged. I was curious about what direction they were going to go in their film, and I was fun for what they did. It wasn't like anything like overly oh my god, I can't believe that's where they went, but it worked for the kind of movie it was. But Gina Carano, definitely the highlight. Definitely the most emotion I've seen from her as an actress. And, again, I applaud the fight scenes. Some pretty solid choreography here. Really showing how strong and capable of a fighter she is, but also keeping it realistic. So I really enjoyed it. Danny Trejo, of course, is always a good presence to have. I would have liked more Stephen Lang. He plays Carano's father. We mostly see him in flashbacks. I feel like they could have actually had more of those, but her childhood is interesting. I would like that sort of background explored a bit more, but it was fine. And in my opinion, Stephen Lang is an absolute master. So even a little bit of him elevates the film a bit for me. But yeah, In the Blood, I liked it. I'm giving it about an 82%, B minus, somewhere in there. I liked it quite a bit. Probably my favorite of hers so far, in terms of execution when it comes down to it. And then the last movie we're going to be talking about for now, which I actually do have on Blu-ray, is Scorched Earth, which just came out last year in 2018. Now, as far as premises go, up until Daughter of the Wolf, which is coming out this year, this is probably the one I'm most interested in based on premise and sort of like setting and environment and stuff like that. It's post-apocalyptic. People are struggling for air, and different resources like that. So I automatically like that kind of premise. It has a bit of a Fallout vibe to it. So by all means, put her in a Fallout movie. In my opinion, I don't care. But yeah, again, not like really notable for its cast besides her, but there are some talented people in this. I mean, again, I'm not really looking at budget, which I probably should be, but this probably feels like the most low budget of them. I'm not trying to insult the movie, but it almost feels like it was made for TV. I don't know, which isn't their fault. It's not like they can. It's not like they should, manufacture, fake money or something like that. So it is what it is on that end. And I'd still say In the Blood is the best performance I've seen from her. But here, she has that charm and likability to her, which came out more and more with each movie of hers that I've seen. I sort of like how she inserts herself into the town under this sort of identity of a, sort of notorious, robber within the lands and stuff. And you get this guy kind of ruling the town with the, the iron fist and stuff like that. And it's kind of plays like a Fallout Western, type of thing, which isn't a bad thing. It's one I actually mean to watch again because, I seen it just the one time, and I feel like this actually has a bit of rewatchability to it. And I honestly like her doing a kind of more of a genre film like this. I'd like to see her in maybe like some kind of survival horror movie or something. I think that'd be cool, like Stakeland or something. So by all means, Gina. But really, I am really getting into Gina Carano. I think she still has a lot of ways to go, and by that I mean I think she still has like all the potential in the world, and she's pretty solid right now. Like I said, really looking forward to that Daughter of the Wolf film. But yeah, what are your favorite movies of Gina Carano so far? What kind of movies do you want to see her do? There's also this other movie of hers she did actually in the mid-2000s, which is actually on Amazon Prime right now. Let's see. Just trying to find the right listing on IMDb here. Let's see. Yeah, Ring Girls. Yeah, it came out in 2005. That's on Amazon Prime. I'm probably gonna check that out soon. But yeah, either way, I'm kind of getting, she's like one of my favorite new stars of these kinds of movies, so I can't wait to see her do more. I keep talking about Daughter of the Wolf. I'm just really looking forward to that. I'm sorry. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe. I've had to rate Scorched Earth. Like I said, I feel like I gotta watch it again. It would probably be an 80% B minus for me. In the Blood is probably my favorite of the three, but I like them all, and like I said, I think she's just kind of building upon herself pretty well here. So yeah, peace.